Hello, everyone, and welcome to day 15 of the show, Too Long Didn't Scroll. 15 days have now passed with consistent daily uploads detailing significant noteworthy events and world news from the previous day, allowing you to get your day started right without endlessly scrolling through your newsfeed. Watch on YouTube or listen on podcast apps like Google Podcasts, Apple Podcasts, Spotify, Amazon Music, and more. Links are in the description. Scroll back to the catalog to find out what happened on any day from January 20th, 2023 and onwards. We start day 15 in the East African country of Ethiopia, which is emerging out of a regional conflict known as the Tigray War, in which Ethiopia forces and forces from its neighbor Eritrea fought against Tigrayan nationalists from the Tigray People's Liberation Front, or TPLF. The conflict was born out of decades of marginalization of the Tigray peoples and in its most recent form, lasted from November of 2020 to November of 2022, after Tigrayan groups lost prominence in Ethiopian government institutions. The war went on to kill between 385,000 to over 600,000 soldiers and civilians, according to the Ghent University, and displaced around 3 million people. However, things may be looking up for the region as processes for peace in the Tigray region continue, with more progress being made today in the wake of the first official meeting between Ethiopian Prime Minister Abiy Ahmed and TPLF officials since the signing of the peace treaty back in November of 2022. Under the current agreement, TPLF forces will agree to begin disarmament processes and restore power to the government, in return for the government re-allowing access back into the region, as steps towards peace in the Tigray region at last continue. We now move over to the continent of North America, where it appears a major security incident may be occurring in the form of what appears to be a Chinese surveillance balloon making its way across the continent after flying over the Aleutian Islands by Alaska and parts of western Canada. The balloon, as of the most recent report, was last detected over the state of Montana. While officials have stated that this balloon poses no risk to civilians over its path, America has accused China of, quote-unquote, a clear violation of sovereignty concerning the balloon the size of 3 buses and housing a technology bay, which appears to be primarily made for surveillance. China has responded by saying that the balloon is merely a quote-unquote civilian airship launched for meteorological purposes that have been blown off track, and claims America's accusations are being made out of ignorance. There are additionally other reports of a second such balloon currently flying over Latin America as well, and the incident has caused American Secretary of State Antony Blinken to postpone his visit to the Chinese capital city of Beijing. We now move over to the South American country of Brazil, which was formerly the owner of what used to be one of the world's 48 aircraft carriers. The aircraft carrier in question, the São Paulo, was first commissioned by France in 1963 and eventually sold to Brazil in 2000, where she served under the Brazilian Navy in several operations for the next 17 years. Despite her tenure, the aircraft carrier suffered from routine service and maintenance issues, and would often be unable to run for more than 3 months at a time. As such, it was announced in 2017 that the carrier would be decommissioned and taken out of active service, with the intention of selling it as scrap in March of 2021. After a Turkish company, intended to be the purchaser of the ship, rejected the idea, the Brazilian Navy, as of today, took to scuttling the ship themselves off the Brazilian coast and the Atlantic Ocean, bringing her down in a controlled sinking. Such a decision did come with controversy, however, in the wake of concerns of metals toxic to aquatic life now leaching into the sea. We now move across South America to the western country of Chile, which is currently going under a severe state of emergency due to a swarm of wildfires blazing through the country's south-central regions. After a particularly brutal summer heatwave, wildfires popping up proceed to burn some 14,000 hectares of land. As of now, Chilean firefighting forces are currently transferring numerous ground equipment and a fleet of 63 planes, with additional support from Brazil and Argentina. As of now, 13 people, including 1 firefighter, have died as a result of the blaze. Moving on over to the world of business and finance, the FTSE 100 index, the main share index tracking 100 highly valuable companies listed on the London Stock Exchange, has recently hit a new record intraday value of 7,906.58 points, its highest value since 2018. It is believed that an optimistic earnings report from oil company Shell and the lowering value of the British pound compared to the American dollar, due to reports of the creation of over 500,000 new jobs in America. All such signs point to optimistic hopes that the world's economies could slowly begin to find ways out of the current recession. In other news, 3 people were killed and several others were injured in the bus crash near the town of Murska Sobota in Slovenia. 7 people were killed in a collision between the bus and a truck in the accident-prone region of Khyber Pakhtunkhwa in Pakistan, and a court in South Korea has sentenced former Justice Minister Cho Kuk to 2 years in prison after reports of him abusing his power, such as by using his position to get his children into prestigious schools.